good afternoon, the clergy, honorable guests, our dear friends and family. Thank you for being with us and standing by our side today. I know I need it. Okay, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Marianne Kirubi'S Musangi, the wife of a lovely man called Andrew Musangi. It's daunting to think what you're waiting to hear from me, especially after what we have listened to over the last 1 week. For those of you who have been with us at home, in Loresho, yesterday, at the church, the words about my father are undescribable. He was evidently larger than life. Growing up, I could not understand why I couldn't have him for myself. I just didn't get it, right? I was a little girl, baby girl. Fiona didn't grow up with us, so I was the baby girl of the house. He was mine, right? But you know what? John Kimingi, Andrew Kamau, Karebe, Gilda, James Moria, Fred Muremi, James Nico, and I can go on and on and on. You were always in our house. But one thing was for sure. I knew that he adored me, and that was good enough. From a tender age, I'd run into his office. Every time we were in town, I'd run into his office, pull him off that chair that he's sitting on right there, that black one. Pull him off it, sit on it, make him go around to the front of the table and sit there. And I was the boss. And he knew it. He knew it. When I was around 12, early 80s, he obviously didn't know about a school in Kikuyu called Alliance. I was sent off to Europe. It has been mentioned by my father-in-law. I was only 12. He was making me leave my cousins, my mom, people that I loved. He was making me leave him. I couldn't understand why, but let me tell you. We talked about how he was a salesman. You all know how he's a salesman, right? I was shown brochures. Children on horses, Muzungus, children on horses, climbing mountains, others ice skating. What is ice skating? We hadn't even seen snow yet. You're telling me about ice skating. Let me tell you, that guy had this 12-year-old girl sold. I couldn't run faster onto that plane to go to Switzerland. Of course, homesickness hit in. And being away in Europe, I was with my cousin, Susan, who was then in college doing languages. We obviously couldn't come home often, and I missed him. I missed my mom. I missed my cousins. I missed being in Kenya. And I started wondering, I thought Dad loved me. I thought I was his little baby. Why would he do this to me? And sometimes it actually did turn into resentment from time to time. But you know what? He was thinking ahead. Because in the 80s, how many African families were sending children out of Kenya for school? Today it is common. But in the early 80s, who was doing that? He was thinking ahead. He had a vision for me. That vision was to get exposed. That vision was to be worldly. That vision was to be fearless of any culture, any language, any persons, and for me to be bold. Sure enough, when living in Europe, I learned to speak French, pathetic Italian, pathetic Spanish. But 10 years later, those languages enabled me to get an amazing job in the Coca-Cola company, living in Morocco, looking after 21 markets in North and West Africa. As a child, I didn't understand what he had sacrificed. He did. He loved me. He still adored me. But he was willing to sacrifice, sending me away for long periods of time just so that I could get a strong foundation, so that I, in future, could better my life, my family's life, my country, and the world. That's vision. So, okay, enough. As we grew up, Ada, Catherine, Susan, Joyce, you'll remember. We used to be told very many things. And one of the things that Dad taught us was how to juggle, right? Family, friends, work, but more importantly, what we were taught how to prioritize and to sacrifice what we needed to sacrifice so as to focus on the really important things. I pray through this 4-year journey we've gone through that Mara, Gina, you have learned this. You have sacrificed a lot. Mommy wasn't around. Mommy had to be with Daddy. My daddy, that is. And I thank you for that. I've lost my page. Andrew, you said this about writing notes, didn't you? Okay. On Easter Monday, 2021, I left my kids for a month. Oh, my baby's about to cry. Sorry, honey. Yeah, please hold her. I left my kids for a month in a beautiful location, Kilifi, Vipingo, yeah? But I left her for a month. My kids are young. When Dad got sick, they were the age of 6 and 7. I had to leave them for 3 months. When Dad had come back, this is just really to show you the sacrifice some of us made. I think yesterday my husband thanked my cousin Joyce, who lives in San Francisco, Ada, who was just up here on stage, and Beverly, who left her husband and her children for 3 months to be with my dad. And this is just to show the kind of sacrifices that we have all made as a family, but that lesson came from my father. My father was tenacious. As you have heard, my father-in-law talked about the environment. Let me not dirty it. My father was a tenacious man, and as you've heard, he brutally fought this disease we call cancer. Towards the very end, which was very difficult, my brother and I were with him, and we would ask him, we were emotionally exhausted. It was unthinkable what he was going through and what we therefore were going through. And even though time and time again we'd reassure Dad that we will be okay, we will be fine. He's given us the tools to manage life ahead. Dad just kept on going. He was tenacious. His BP would go back to normal, his oxygen levels would go back to normal, his pulse rate would go back to normal, and we'd just be like, oh gosh, here we go again. He fought very, very, very hard. Daddy, I'm still your little girl. And as little girls do, I will put on your shoes. those shoes that you have left behind. However, my tiny little feet will be swimming helplessly in your shoes as I reach out for your hand to hold me steady. So before God and all these witnesses, I ask you to bless me and allow me to wear my own shoes. The shoes you bought for me, which are a perfect fit. The shoes that will enable me to run my race. Dad, Robert, and I will honor your legacy. We have agreed that we will set up the Chris Kirubi Foundation that will honor the work and the values you were so truly passionate about. The Chris Kirubi Foundation will focus on 4 things, not 3. 4 things: education and mentorship for the youth, health, focusing on diabetes and cancer treatment. This will be in partnership with Massachusetts General. As you heard Dr. Goyal talking about, I already have a letter written by the Massachusetts General President to our Ministry of Health, stating that they would like to partner with us to do education, to train, to offer solutions on technology, because that is what we lack in this country, and we have to get the medical care up. Three, my dad is more of a techie than I am. I can't even put my phone on, so I will try and get techie-like, but Robert is better at tech than I am. And innovation and technology is definitely going to be one of the pillars. And lastly, what is dear also to my father-in-law's heart, agriculture. We are here today. I hope after this service you are able to look around and see all those bananas that Dad has grown, all the avocados that he has grown, and you will see truly he loved and believed in agriculture as a base for employment of the youth in Kenya. Thank you, C.S. Macharia, for the honorable message that we have gotten. His Excellency did pass by the house and sat with us, and we talked for a long time. I did mention to him about this foundation and how we would like to work closely with the government. We have already started conversations with the MasterCard Foundation as well as the Aga Khan Hospital. And I think to the president, I think I sold it to him. Still trying to wear the big shoes. Daddy, as I told you over the last couple of weeks, we will be all right. We'll be all right. You taught us patience. You taught us to work hard. You taught us tenacity. And most importantly, you taught us to care. We will be fine. Rest now. Enjoy the bliss of heaven with the loved ones that went there before you. Guka, Shosho, Auntie Sally, Norbert, and many others. I promise to do my best. And when I'm stuck, I will seek those in this gathering who have come to honor you, to support me, and hold my hand. Most importantly, I will seek the guidance of God. Your legacy will never, your legacy will never be forgotten. I love you, Daddy.
So we've come to the end of the tributes. I would like now to hand the program to Reverend Teresia Wairimo to take us on from here. Mom, please.
Well, it's a great joy for me to stand in front of you and say, I salute and